First time outside Europe. The promoters were the former world champions, Barry Briggs and Ivan Major, and they pressed the case for Los Angeles, and they won out. And so the mighty Memorial Coliseum, built for the 1932 Olympics and to be used again in '84, was selected to stage the spectacular. It was an appropriate choice for the reigning champion because the blonde Bruce Pennell, with a film star looks and soon to have a TV career to go with them, is from California. 16 riders qualify for the world final, which is fought out over 20 heats. And on this occasion, not before a knowledgeable crowd, because Speedway is not very big in America, but certainly a partisan one with Pennell's interests at heart. The Americans gave it their usual treatment, introducing the riders to the crowd in Western style. 16 riders packed onto the stagecoach. From America, Bruce Pennell, Dennis Sigalos and Kelly Moran. 4 English stars, Kenny Carter, Dave Jessup, the '76 champion Peter Collins and brother Les. Phil Crump was the lone Australian, George Hack of West Germany, and the Scandinavian qualifiers were Jan Andersson of Sweden, Kai Niemi the Finn, and Hans Nilsson from Denmark. The Eastern Europeans, Mikhail Starostin of the USSR, the Czechs, Vaclav Verner and Jiří Stancel, and from Poland, Edward Jancarz. Well, the trophies were there for everyone to see, and of course they are the most coveted rewards in the sport of Speedway. 30,000 spectators were there too, 80% of them to cheer on their man Pennell, the American champion, and to be introduced to the thrills of the sport displayed by its top stars. In the Coliseum to read the races is Dave Lanning.
And so, a moment of history, the first non-European World Speedway Championship final. And Los Angeles Coliseum about half filled, I would say. But my word, what a noise the American fans are making here as we come into Heat 1. We've had the most marvellous pre-meeting fireworks and staging, all the razzmatazz of a major American sporting event, and the American fans really on their toes here from Heat 1 because they have 2 of their home favourites here on Heat 1. Let's have a look at the lineup on the inside. Kelly Moran, USA, next to him Peter Collins, the former title holder from England. Grid 3, the mysterious Michael Starostin in borrowed boots. He'll be in the white helmet from the USSR, and on the outside, Dennis Sigalos, just back from an ankle injury, his first competitive meeting for a month. It's a big, big racer here, 427 metres, like White City, Bellevue, Manchester. Here we go. Heat number 1. How's it going to ride? Away they go. And from the outside, it is Sigalos. Moran is in second place. Collins moves through into second place under Moran. Sigalos is clear. The American fans are on their feet. He's really hitting this pit corner. Dennis Sigalos away. Second place, Peter Collins. Third is Kelly Moran. Moran is making a move up onto the back wheel of Peter Collins. Still Sigalos in front. The noise is absolutely deafening as Moran moves inside Peter Collins into second place. And this is just the start that the American crowd were looking for. There are 2 riders going 1 and 2 and looking very much at home on this big, racy, pacey Coliseum Speedway, specially prepared by Ivan Major and Barry Briggs. And it looks like it is going to suit the home riders. They're into the last lap. What a start for Sigalos, aged 23 in his first world final, and he's going to win Heat 1, the first ever World Championship final race on American soil. Sigalos from start to finish. He wins it. Second place, Moran. Third is Peter Collins. And just listen to that reception. And so Kenny Carter, many reckon to be England's #1 threat, comes out for Heat number 2 of this 1982 World Speedway Championship final. Kenny will be on the outside, just back following a very serious lung injury. There's Carter. We haven't seen him in action for 3 weeks. It's going to be interesting to see how he bounces back in the white-hot pressure of the Coliseum Los Angeles. Across the line on the inside, Jan Andersson from Sweden. He will be in the red helmet colour. Next to him, Edward Jancarz, the most experienced finalist in the field. This is his 10th appearance. Next to him in the white helmet colour, Vaclav Verner from Czechoslovakia in his first world final, though he's been around a long while. On the outside, Kenny Carter in his second world final. There are the four riders for Heat 2. Carter is the impatient one. And they're away this time, and from the inside it looks like Anderson gets a jump, and so from the outside has come Carter. Carter sweeps across the field into the lead. In second place it's Jancarz. In third it is Anderson, but Kenny Carter for Yorkshire and England showing no ill effects at all and kicking on and going away. Second place Jancarz under some pressure from Anderson, but there's no catching Kenny Carter. He looks in peak form. His resilience, we know, cannot be questioned. He came back from a very serious jaw injury. He is in front. There's a battle for second place. In last place, it is Vaclav Verner. And Anderson has lost his helmet colour, and now it looks like he may be losing his third place because the bike almost has given up. This is Carter in front by a mile. Into the last lap, Kenny Carter for England. And the smattering of English fans are loving this. And Carter's almost long tracking it. And this looks an encouraging start for the Yorkshireman. Over the line, 3 points for Carter, 2 for Jancarz. Anderson holds on for 1 in third place. But we've had 2 heats, and both the invalids, both the favourites we thought might be affected by those knocks. Sigalos and Carter have opened as though they haven't been away for 5 minutes.
I don't know how well this translates, but he's a cocky little devil, isn't he? I mean, his condition's good. We'll see. He wins his opening ride. The finishing order by colours.
Heat 3 then coming up, and we have an opportunity to have a look at another of the anti-post favourite invalids, Dave Jessup. On the inside, he'll be in the red helmet colour. David, of course, from Wimbledon, so unlucky in previous world finals with mechanical trouble. This year it's all down to a very unusual tick bite fever he contracted in South Africa. He's on the inside in red. Next to him, another of the dark horses, Phil Crump from Australia Blue. Grid 3 has George Hack, spectacular West German, in the white helmet colour. And on the outside, Yuri Stancel, 32, multiple world finalists, might get round this big track from Czechoslovakia. Here we go for heat number 3, and from the inside, Jessup has made one of his supersonic starts. Jessup leads it. They're all in a line for second place. Who will level out in front? It is George Hack from Germany. There's a surprise. And in third place, it is Stancel. And little Dave Jessup is stretching them here around this Colosseum track. Closing on his back wheel, it's Hack. Of course, so used to these big racing tracks in West Germany. But Jessup made the sort of start we've seen so many times, and we can but keep our fingers crossed that his luck will hold, because we remember seeing him in front at Wembley and the bike gave up. We really mustn't tempt fate. Jessup is going away from them here in Heat 3, and again the English fans are on their feet. Still in second place, it is Hack. Coming through into third place now, it is Stancel. And it looks like Crump has lost his helmet colour, and Phil Crump has hardly shown at all here as they all begin to tighten up at the back. Crump's moved into third place. This is Jessup in front. There's a battle for the odd points. No trouble at all for Jessup. And Crump is really battling hard against Hack. There's Hack still holding him out. Crump's in third place. There's the distances. They're coming up to the checkered flag. Jessup wins it. Hack holds on to second place. Crump is third, and at the back it was Stancel. And little Dave Jessup again has given rise to the Union Jacks, because he made the start and looked in no trouble at all.
We'll double check your finishing order. Here it comes.
Well, just look at the commotion at the pit gate for heat number 4. Of course, only one rider can attract that kind of attention. Bruce Pennell, the defending champion, and the Colosseum will surely raise to him. The pressure really on him. A Hollywood contract. We have got the cameras of the ITV Speed Cop Series chips here filming him. He could hardly have much more pressure. Listen to that reception from the crowd. It really is deafening. Pennell will be on the outside. Well, if he's got any nerves, they must be really jumping now. This is Les Collins, one of his opponents here in heat number 4. Les, of course, the reigning intercontinental champion in his first world final, 24-year-old from Leicester. Heat 4 then, Collins on the inside, next to him Niemi. Grid 3, the man whom many fear, Hans Nielsen, the only Dane in the final. On the outside, the reigning champion, Bruce Pennell. The outside grid has been quick. Pennell will want to get a good start to his defence. Oh, that was a rugged start, and Nielsen was left. And from the inside, it's Les Collins who goes. Les Collins is in front, Pennell's in second place. In third place, it is Niemi. And Collins it is for England, who stretches down the back straight. And the crowd are on their feet. There's flashlights all over the stadium as Pennell starts to make his move. Down the inside, they're absolutely shoulder to shoulder. Can Collins hold him out? As they hit the corner, he's gone very wide in. Pennell has gone through the gap. Collins has not finished fighting though, and the Englishman is really battling for his life out there, and he's gone past Pennell once again, and that has really stunned this American crowd. Les Collins going for his life, and England, he's in front. Pennell's in second place. In third place, well, it looks like Nielsen's in third place, and this is some ride. And again, Pennell tries the inside run, and Collins has held him out, and they've got one more lap to go. And again, we're having a classic from Bruce Pennell. He tries the inside run, and Collins has just held him, or has he? We remember Pennell at Wembley, and it's the same old story. What an opening ride from Pennell. He switches outside. He'll try to come back under Les Collins. Now who's going to have the drop? Right on the line. This time it's Les Collins who wins it. Second place was Pennell. In third place, it looked like Nielsen, but what a start for Les Collins in his first world final. The Brits in the crowd are ecstatic, and Collins really has set this 1982 world final absolutely ablaze. So Pennell now on the inside in Heat 5 in the red helmet colour, having already dropped 1 point. And he has got Kelly Moran, fellow American, right next to him in grid 2, who also has dropped 1 point. So Kelly will be looking for points, still very much in contention. Early days yet. We look across the line for Heat 5, Bruce Pennell with 2 points. He's in red. Next to him, Kelly Moran, and he has 2 points, and he's in blue. Grid 3 has Jan Andersson from Sweden with 1 point, and on the outside, George Hack surprised a few with a second place first time out. He's in yellow on the outside, which has been a fairly lively grid. Heat 5, and Pennell this time has made the jump, and so too has Moran, and from the outside Hack has gone as well, but Pennell shreds them right across the first corner, and Hack got a knock there. In second place Anderson, third place is Moran, and Hack going hard under Kelly Moran into the pit corner, and well, Moran, who looked as though he might just have got the drop on Pennell, is now back in last place. Pennell in front, second place Anderson, third is Hack, and the West German just leaves a hole there for Moran, and again I think he'll try and dive down the inside. Pennell unaware of the drama unfolding behind him. So the world champion by no means allowing the crown to slip from his grasp. He's in front, and now the real battle is for second place. There it is, with Anderson holding out some determined thrusts from Kelly Moran into the last lap. Just 427 metres to go, and Moran is almost bursting a blood vessel trying to get past Jan Anderson. This is Pennell. All the actions in second place. We hope our American friends will pick it up. And Anderson has just shaken off Moran. Pennell wins it. Second place Anderson, third Kelly Moran, and so Bruce Pennell has shown that he's far from had his say in this 1982 world final. And so Dave Jessup, with the win under his belt, comes into heat number 6. You'll see the other identification here, the blue on the right arm, the throttle hand, just to add to our identification purposes here. Let's have a look at the lineup for Heat 6. Kai Niemi is on the inside, and he's always a spoiler in red from Finland. Dave Jessup, who looks so comfortable winning his first rides in grid number 2. Grid 3 has Peter Collins in white, and on the outside Vaclav Verner from Czechoslovakian Pool Pirates. Canny old campaigner, 33 years old, been in a few long track and ice finals, first time in a lot of tries in a world final. Jessup here, of course, is in his 6th world final. We'll watch for him in grid 2 in heat number 6. And away they go, and it isn't a good start from Jessup. It's Niemeyer that gets clear from the inside. Niemeyer leads it. Jessup trying to switch around the curve, hasn't got the horsepower. In third place, it is Peter Collins. And now Dave Jessup, having won his first ride from the gate, must now try his luck from the back. Third place, it is still Verner, and Jessup swinging out with the dirties and not really getting much joy there as Niemi stretches down the back straight, and Jessup now has a lot of work to do. There's the difference between Niemi in front, and we remember Kai Niemi in his last World Final, and that was in Gothenburg when he was a rare spoiler there, and Jessup really has got to do an awful lot of catching up here. They're into their third lap, halfway round it. In third place still, it looks like Vaclav Verner, and Peter Collins really is having a nightmare in this, his, what, 8th World Final. And Jessup too, this is a disappointing ride from the Little Wimbledon Don, because he's made no impression on Kai Niemi. And Niemi has opened up a few eyes here in heat number 6. He wins it. Second place Jessup, third is Verner, and Peter Collins is at the back. Well, Dennis Sigalos in the pits looking out with great interest here as Heat 7 comes up to the line, because Dennis won his opening ride and he knows one of his rivals, and perhaps a surprise one, is out here in Heat 7, and that's Les Collins, and he'll be in grid 2 here in blue, who has already collected the scalp of Bruce Pennell. It must have lifted his confidence sky high. He's got Phil Crump in red on the inside. Collins is in grid 2. Grid 3 has Ed Jancarz, this dangerous Pole who was never underestimated. There's Pennell obviously riveted with attention, and on the outside the Russian Mikhail Starostin. So can Les Collins, who really had him gasping, continue his winning ways here in Heat 7? And he's made a flyer. Oh, it's Collins up to the corner and going away from them. In second place it is Crump. In third place it is Jancarz. But Les Collins, the Intercontinental champion, who many felt might raise a few eyebrows here in America, is doing this in his first World Final. And a gap there left by Crump has allowed Jancarz through. Collins in front. Second place now Jancarz. Third is Phil Crump. It's a disappointing World Final for the Australian, of course. Third in 1976 behind Les's elder brother Phil. Peter. Peter having a disappointing night, but Les Collins really keeping the Collins clan absolutely on their toes and keeping their banner flying high, because he's beaten Bruce Pennell and he's looked pretty comfortable here in Heat 7. Second place still Jancarz into the last lap, and this really is a marvellously prepared Los Angeles circuit. It must be said, you can race on it, there's some dirt, it's very fast, and it is possible to pass on the inside and outside, but when it's a World Final and a rider like Les Collins gets in front with his tail up, takes a fair bit of catching. Second win for Collins. In second place Jancarz. Third was Phil Crump. Les Collins here losing his helmet colour, and looks like his rear tyre might just be losing some pressure. And well, he's trying to out Bruce Pennell pedal, and that takes some audacity here in California.
And Russia, enjoy.
We're moving into heat number 8, and at this point all around the Coliseum it's advisable perhaps to get somebody fairly substantial to hang on to, because we have two unbeaten riders, Dennis Sigalos and Kenny Carter. They're in the red and blue helmet colours respectively. Yuri Stansel's in white. Hans Nielsen, victim of a very ragged start, but still no mean performer on the outside in yellow. Now Sigalos and Carter, well, there must be some needle in between them as they approach this heat number 8, because back at Cradley in the Golden Hammer, Carter and Sigalos were involved in a brush at the starting gate. It resulted in the American ending with a broken ankle, which has kept him out of the saddle. And, well, is it simmering beneath the surface? We'll see here. Sigalos may just vitally have the inside grid, the pole position, as the Americans call it. That could be important to him. But Carter, we have seen, is a real little Yorkshire Terrier. And we mustn't forget the Eastern European Yuri Stansel or Hans Nielsen, who had a disastrous opening ride. Here we go for heat number 8 with two unbeaten riders. Away they go, and Sigalos it is who gets away, and Carter really has ridden around the outside of him at the first corner, and that's a tremendously brave corner from Kenny Carter. He really wrapped it all up around the outside, and Sigalos just couldn't contain him, and Carter is all over the place, maintaining control with magnificent composure. In third place in the white helmet colour, it is Stansel, but Carter is stretching Sigalos. Oh my word, that silenced the fans. Carter's lost his helmet colour, and it's still him in front. And although it looked as though Sigalos had just got the drop on him, and Carter is still picking up drive, he is really all over the place, and he must just settle down, because Sigalos is not that far back, and twice now Carter has unintentionally mono-wheeled. They're into the last lap, and still it is the Yorkshireman in front. Sigalos is beaten unless Carter does something silly. In third place, it is still Stansel. Nielsen, who many thought could really take the crown to Denmark, nowhere in sight, but it's win number 2 for Kenny Carter. He wins it. Sigalos is second. In third place, it is Stansel. And still the Union Jack is blowing merrily in this hot Californian evening.
The blue helmet cover, and come on, you people who came all the way from England, pump your kid up. The winner, Kenny Carter, for 3.
So the field has now completed 2 rides apiece, and there's a sight to gladden every English heart here in California. English leaders Les Collins and Kenny Carter both unbeaten on 6 points apiece. Bruce Pennell, the reigning champion, on 5. Dave Jessup on 5. Dennis Sigalos on 5, and Ed Jancarz, a bit of a surprise packet pole in the picture, on 4.
So the final nicely poised now, and the omen's good for an English success. Les Collins having beaten Pennell, and Kenny Carter yet to meet him, and both riders on maximum points. After the break, we continue the story, and there's controversy ahead, so be sure to join us in a couple of minutes. Back to the World Individual Speedway Championship final. We left it after Heat 8 with Les Collins and Kenny Carter both on 6, ahead of the defending champion Bruce Pennell, who was on 5 points. Now, Heat 9 went to Kelly Moran, the American. Yuri Stansel won Heat 10, in which Les Collins lost his unbeaten record. He finished 3rd, ahead of his brother Peter. But in Heat 11, Kenny Carter made it 3 wins in a row, and so we come to Heat 12, and it's a very important one for the defending champion. Dave Lanning has the lineup.
Well, we're coming on to Heat 12, and this could be a real cruncher, because we have 4 riders, all of whom have scored points, and 3 of them were still certainly in with a chance of taking the 1982 World Speedway Championship. On the inside, it is Bruce Pennell in the red helmet colour. He has 5 points. Next to him, his great buddy, close friend Dennis Sigalos in blue. He too has 5 points. Grid 3 has Dave Jessup in white. He has 5 points. And on the outside, Ed Jancarz, the tough, uncompromising pole, just turning back to the pits. He's in yellow and black. And I think he just might be trying a spot of psychology there, coming back into line. So the 3 inside riders, perhaps the one to watch. Jancarz has 4 points, gives precious little away. Jessup maybe a little bit unlucky to have drawn grid 3. It hasn't really produced much fruit from that 3rd grid. Pennell on the inside, that's been a quick one, and the outside's been quick as well. So it is really going to be something of a charge up to the first corner. And if Jessup can possibly get his nose in front, that will really set the Coliseum on its toes. Here we go, Heat 12, and Pennell is so impatient and lucky not to break the tape. We come again for the restart. Away they go, and from the inside they've got a flyer. It is Pennell and Sigalos, and Jessup switches down on the curve. That was a brilliant piece of cornering by Jessup. Just didn't pick off Pennell. Pennell leads it. Jessup with a marvellous piece of cornering into 2nd place. 3rd is Sigalos. And now the battle and the chase is really on, with Sigalos in 3rd place, chasing hard after Jessup, and Jessup trying to regain ground on Bruce Pennell, and Jessup switching very, very wide indeed, and that's left Sigalos through, and well, that was a big hole, and Sigalos accepted the favour gracefully, and Jessup's back in 3rd place and having trouble holding out Jancarz. Pennell though in front, untroubled, looking incomparable up front. In 2nd place Sigalos. Dave Jessup's chance of the World Championship must surely have gone now. Pennell then moving into the last lap, looking over his shoulder, and he really does seem to have overcome that early edginess. He's seen so many of his rivals drop points. Pennell's back into contention, and increasingly it looks as though it's going to develop into a battle of the two anti-post favourites. Pennell here, winning heat 12, and England's own Kenny Carter. Pennell wins it. Second place, Jessup has stopped again, and the world final jinx on Dave Jessup right on the line there. The crowd is saluting Pennell. There is the crowd, but Dave Jessup, world final luck continues to back zero, because right on the last corner his machine failed again, and well, we can but wonder if Dave Jessup is ever going to win a world title, and if maybe Bruce Pennell is sincerely and severely back in the hunt. 3 rides completed, and the only unbeaten rider in the field, Kenny Carter from England, on 9 points, but now Bruce Pennell looking much more relaxed, breathing down his neck on 8 points. Dennis Sigalos and Les Collins have 7 points. Kelly Moran is on 6, and it does look increasingly as though the new 1982 world champion will come from that leading bunch. We're moving on now to heat number 14, and such a vital one in the young life of Kenny Carter, because he's unbeaten, and as we move into this race, he knows that he has Bruce Pennell, who has already dropped a point, and Bruce will be inside him on the grid. Kenny in the white helmet colour on grid 3, which hasn't proved to be a particularly fortuitous grid. The Pennell fans on their feet. This is going to be the one that could well decide, and almost certainly will, the 1982 World Championship. Bruce Pennell in blue, Kenny Carter will be in white. There's Pennell. He knows he's got to take this one. He's got to beat Carter to realistically hold out hopes of keeping the World Championship in the United States. And the crowd really settling in. They rather sense that something volcanic could happen here. On the inside, it will be Peter Collins in red. Well, he's out of contention, but he'll be obviously trying to help Carter. Grid 2 has Pennell. Grid 3 has Carter unbeaten. On the outside, Phil Crump on 3 points. So we'll just have to keep our eyes riveted on those two middle starting positions, Pennell and Carter in blue and white respectively. The crowd are raising their voices to a crescendo. If Pennell can get his nose in front here, I should think they'll lift every roof in Los Angeles. They're on their feet, the flags are out. They know just how important this race is. Heat 14, the one that surely will decide the eventual destination of the first ever world title to be contested in the United States, the first ever world final outside Europe. Pennell, we remind you, is in blue in grid 2. Carter is in white in grid 3. The other two riders, Peter Collins and Phil Crump, and they're terribly impatient to go, and it is Collins who wants to try and break, and I'm sure take Bruce Pennell out on the first corner. And we're reminded that the team riding tactics of Pennell really got him some stick at White City in the overseas final. We wonder now if Peter Collins is going to do the team riding tactics. They've turned them around, and well, you can really put your hand out of this commentary box here at the Coliseum and grab the atmosphere in great fistfuls. They're coming back into line. The noise is absolutely deafening. Here's Carter, and really, what a test of the character of this young Yorkshire Terrier. Pennell too must be affected. It really is electric out there. On the inside, we remind you, it is Peter Collins. There's Pennell. What must be going through his mind at this moment? Grid 3 has Carter. On the outside, it is Crump, and once again, they'll try to settle down and go, and away they go, and it's Pennell in front. Pennell moving out, and Collins has swung out, and Carter's back in last place as Peter Collins goes away. In second place, it's Crump, and now we're going to have to see what Kenny Carter can do. Peter Collins is in front. In second place still, it is Crump. What an upset, and they're all bunching up at the back, and here comes Kenny Carter after Pennell. What a surprise. And this one could really open up the World Championship as Crump and Pennell move through in the second place, and that could be important. Carter still has not made any move at all, and here he comes through on the inside, and he's moved over Bruce Pennell. What a move! Oh, what a move! And then Pennell will swing up the inside, and he's taken Carter out and knocks him straight into the fence. Down he goes. And what is referee Thor Kittleson going to make of that? What a moment. It is still Collins in front. He must stop it. He must stop it. Carter is trapped under the fence. And what are we going to make of that? Well, it was getting pushing and shoving and elbows. Neither rider giving anything away. And, well, I wouldn't like to be the referee to call that one. Well, Carter is down. We can only keep our fingers crossed he's okay. And as dramatic moments in World Finals go, we've had 36. This is the 37th, and it will come no more dramatic than that. Carter is still under the fence. And at the moment, there is no exclusion light on. We look down to the lights. The referee, of course, the most experienced official, Thor Kittleson, has stopped it. And the white light has gone on. The white exclusion light, and that is Kenny Carter. And that is going to be talked about till time runs out in Speedway. It is Carter's light that has come on. Thor Kittleson has made the decision, and that really has opened up this world final. It's a dramatic moment. There's surely never been a more dramatic moment. But it looks like Kittleson has excluded Carter, and that means Pennell will go back in, and we're going to be talking about that one for ages to come. But Pennell, you may feel, was lucky to escape an exclusion, or you may feel that it was fair dues. Well, there is Carter going back to the pit. And I can't but wonder what he'll think about all that, because he normally has his say. The protests are starting. Referee Thor Kittleson, they're ringing the phone, I think, to Carter. And Carter can't believe it. I can hear him say it, I can't believe it.
That race, I had turned in the corner, and Bruce just took my leg, and I couldn't even turn me. Just both of my wheels just went from under me, and he just ran me straight through the fence coming out. I was on the outside in front, and he just took my leg straight underneath me, and I'm not kidding, referee. I just hadn't a chance. Been injured as it isn't. Hello? I've been injured as it. He just stuffed me straight in. He took my leg and everything. I had no chance. Excuse me, ref. How can I cause a stoppage of the race when he just took my leg straight from under me? Unfair riding, obviously. I mean, I passed him on the pit corner and he bloody turned right. He turned left. I went from the start and he turned right from the start and went straight across the front of me. And then on the first, when I come past him on the inside, he went straight across up onto me, and he's elbowing me, and I'm trying to get off him because my handlebars were stuck on him. And he just went straight into that corner and took my leg straight from under me. You can ask Barry Briggs, Ivan Manger, ask anybody. That's disgusting. Well, I mean, that's, can't you speak to somebody? That's bloody, it's just robbed me of the world title of that. Do you know that? No, we'll have a look at it now. You come down from the box. That's going to cost me the world championship. I don't want to... You come down from your box. Ivan Manger and Barry Briggs is here. You come down from your box and have a look on the video and have a look on the telly down here with the promoters and that. That's going to rob me of the world title. I want you to come down and have a look at it. That's not fair.
It's Ivan back again. Look, they've got that replay down here, Tory. If you don't come down here, that's bloody criminal. The whole World Championship is going to rest on your very bad decision.
He took a minute
and they've got it down here, and you can see it in black and white, Tory. Christ almighty. You're a responsible man. You'll come all the way around the world to make this decision. You can't just sit up there and like a bloody god and say, I'm not going to do anything about it.
Ivan, it took a minute and a half to put the red my colour on.
I want to tell you, that's not the first time that he's made such a bad decision.
He's got to get him down here. Ivan.
That's the FIM for you. That's the establishment for you. We bring that man halfway around the world to make a decision like that.
You've had this problem before, Ivan?
I've had the problem with him. 1968 at Wembley, done the same thing to me. Left me lying on the track as well when I got knocked off. Wouldn't stop anything.
What do you think the outcome will be?
Well, the outcome is that the World Championship is not going to go to Kenny Carter on that one man's decision.
And Carter is out on the track. They're trying to restart it. The Americans are on their feet. And your heart goes out to the young man. It's certainly was a controversial decision. The lone Union Jack stands there. Carter is out there saying, come down and watch it. The restart will go on. Thor Kittleson, who is right next to our commentary position, completely unmoved. And it looks as though a world final so rich in promise that looked like being something of a classic is going to be remembered only for the controversy. There is Pennell. Well, what can we say about Pennell? It's so sad. Ivan Major moves across and says, Kenny, come on, you've got to move. And Kenny really will have to move. And it looks like the security men have gone in now, and this is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. We've got some very, very hairy security men moving in there, and this is really getting out of hand. And this is one of the most tragic moments in so many world finals we've covered. We always feared that it was going to burn on a short fuse. We thought the American contingent would be maybe looking for Carter. We never thought it could possibly end like this. And surely we don't need those great pug-ugly beefcake security men to clear Kenny off the track. That really was ridiculous. Meantime, the restart must go on, and they're away this time, and it's Pennell who gets clear. Pennell in front, Collins is second, but really all the sweetness has gone out of this world final. Collins is going to battle for the English hopes. Peter Collins trying the outside run on Pennell, and in third place it is Crump. But really all the sting has gone from this World Championship final. We have been robbed in one moment of controversy, of the enjoyment and the pleasure it was providing. Pennell's in front, and you must fancy him now to retain his title. He looks back over his shoulder. Collins is in second place. Here is the battle for the lead. Bruce Pennell retrieving the situation. But we wonder what the world of Speedway will say about the 1982 World Final. Certainly it will be remembered more for all the drama, for all the arguments, and for the controversy which will rage as long as men ride Speedway bikes. Pennell is going to win Heat 14. Collins, bless his heart, is trying to keep up with him. Third place is Crump. And at long last, we've finished Heat 14. Bruce Pennell's back in the driving seat, but what a way to get there.
Kenny, we heard your end of the story. What did the referee say to you?
Somebody says to me, they put my light on a minute and a half after the decision. Bruce Pennell took my leg. I couldn't even turn. I've been injured once in hospital in intensive care. I ain't going to fall off on purpose. All my bike and my leg and everything, it just went under the fence. I had no chance. And the referee won't come and have a look at it on the video.
We had about 3 or 4 tussles earlier in the night, and, you know, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Let him shut off, let him go by? I didn't do it deliberately. He was on the outside of me. I never even saw him after I got by him. And then I just felt a little bit, and it was him.
So Heat 16, and there's still a lot of questions to be answered, and still a lot of points to be won and places to be gained here in Los Angeles on a night that, in honesty, Hollywood just across the way could hardly have surpassed. Heat 16, George Hack on the inside, he'll be in red. Vaclav Verner in blue, he'll be in grid 2. Now Dennis Sigalos has suddenly come back into the reckoning for a place in the rostrum. He has a total of 7 points from 3 rides, and so too has Les Collins, the Englishman, on the outside in the yellow helmet. Les with 2 race wins and a very disappointing third last time out. The battle really is on for places in the first 3. Sigalos and Collins both know they have still a great chance of making a name for themselves, and Collins it is who gets away from the outside. Collins leads it. In second place it is Sigalos. In third place it's Hack. It's a fine start from Les Collins. He stretches away down the back straight. And Sigalos must chase hard after him, and does so, and is closing up onto him as we move into lap number 2 of Heat 16. An evening that started so hearteningly for the English lads, and down there has gone Hack. on that second turn of lap number 2, and the referee has stopped the race. And again, that is going to cause some controversy in the English camp, because it didn't look as though Hack was in any trouble. Collins was clearly in front when it was stopped, and we wonder what is going to happen in the restart, because if Sigalos gets out, then one would be tempted to consider that the old American hometown decisions is being brought to bear.
He rubbed the guy's leg in a everyday type of race. How can you be such an hypocrite? What a hypocrite you are. 5 minutes ago you would not disqualify Penhall because he's here in front of these American fans, and he completely bundled Kenny Carter into the fence. Vaclav Verner just rubbed George Hack's leg, and you disqualify him. What a hypocrite. I ask you, would you have disqualified Vaclav Verner if he had a Stars and Stripes on, if he was American? How can you do that?
Well, still the arguments rage, and if Dennis Sigalos can get it clear in this restart of Heat 16, well, one fears the British crowd might well burst a blood vessel, because the rise and arguments about Kenny Carter's dismissal and his lost chance in the World Championship, there's Carter still plainly disgruntled. And another Englishman, Les Collins, was clear when that race was stopped, and it certainly didn't look on our record and replay as though Verner, who has been excluded, did anything near as bad as the brush that Penhall had with Carter, yet he has been excluded. And it must be said, and it must be said in all fairness, it did look slightly inconsistent refereeing at such a crucial time. Now here we go for the restart of Heat 16. And again, it looks like Les Collins has got away, and so too is George Hack. And Hack has given Sigalos an almighty knock in the first corner. And now Collins is clear again. Sigalos has moved up into second place. So hopefully no real damage will be done by that refereeing decision, as long as Collins can keep going. I remind you now that Bruce Penhall has just dropped 1 point. Everybody else has dropped points. Sigalos has dropped 2, so has Les Collins. And of course Kenny Carter has now dropped 3. So it's going to be a battle for the places, no doubt about that, as Sigalos sets sail to try and catch Les Collins in this last couple of laps of heat number 16. And he has definitely gained ground. Here is the battle. And again, Sigalos just cannot quite seem to find, you can see the distance is there, maybe a dozen lengths. And although he gains on the corners, Les Collins seems to get his wheels back in line just that bit quicker and stretches the way down the straights the last lap. And around to the checkered flag, Les Collins hangs on to save another dramatic and controversial moment. Sigalos is second, third is George Hack. So Collins moves up onto a total of 10 points. Sigalos, and look at that look from Les Collins, and it must be said that the atmosphere suddenly between the English and the Americans leaves a fair bit to be desired. Well, there goes Kenny Carter, and he's just on the public address system here in Los Angeles announcing his intention to sue the referee, Tora Kittleton. I really don't think that will do him much good, but it is so sad that England's main hope should really have lost his chance in such a fashion. And it must be said equally sad that he just doesn't accept the decision with good grace and get on with the racing, because he's still in with a chance of second place, and his turn at 21 surely will come. Well, the British fans have been pretty well behaved, considering one or two of the decisions they've had to swallow. Still got something to smile about. And we look across the track here at heat number 17, and we have got 3 Englishmen and 1 American, and there is one of the Englishmen still in with a chance of a place on the rostrum, Kenny Carter, whose emotional insides must be turning somersaults. He is in blue here. He has got Kelly Moran inside him. He has got Dave Jessup on the outside there with 8 points. So a win here for DJ conceivably could take him into the first 3, and Les Collins, the better placed of all 4 starters, has a total of 10 points. And here is Jessup pushing off, and once again we have got a nail-biter here with so many options and so many possibilities. Here comes Les Collins, who has just won the previous race. He has 2 on the trot here. When he has got in front, he really has looked pure class. And there is Carter. Well, how he can fix his mind on racing after the emoting that's been going on for the past quarter of an hour, as that decision rankled obviously very deeply with him. Now, how will it affect his speedway? And Kelly Moran on the inside, well, he knows he can still get in the first 3, and he has got 3 Englishmen who may well be on the lookout for him. So, a really, really spicy brew for heat number 17. And if Collins wins, it means that Pennell must win his last race to overtake him. Collins is in the white helmet colour. Moran is on the inside. He's got Carter right next to him. We've got Jessup on the outside. Here we go for heat number 17. And it looks like Moran from the inside, and Carter as well has gone with him. And coming around the outside is Les Collins, but Moran it is who shows. And here comes Collins down the outside. Collins has passed him beautifully. Carter's in 3rd place. Moran is 2nd as they all bunch up over into the 2nd lap. Still Les Collins leads it. 2nd place Moran, and Moran trying to find some drive down the inside. They're getting pretty close. Carter is in 3rd place, and we have got some speedway race. Les Collins swings alarmingly wide if you happen to be an Englishman, but then he gets his wheels back in line, but he can't afford to make a mistake out there as Moran is nibbling and biting and trying to find the drive around the inside. Carter's still back in 3rd place, making no real impact as we move into the last lap. And still it is Les Collins leading for England. 2nd place Moran. Carter is back in 3rd place, and there's no question at all that all the aggro really has upset his form. Could hardly be wondered at, really. Collins is going to win it, and that sets Pennell the target. Over the line, Les Collins wins it. 2nd place Moran. 3rd is Kenny Carter. And now we must all look to heat number 19, the last race for Pennell, as the reigning world champion now must win it to take the title for the 2nd successive year. And there's the rider who has set in that target, Les Collins, who really has been a surprise packet and has done England proud here at the Coliseum on this memorable night for World Speedway.
Les Collins, what a ride. Couldn't have been better under the circumstances. You're the man in the clubhouse, you're leading. How do you feel?
Absolutely great. Just a pity, you know, I lost 2 points in my 3rd race, but I've had 4 wins, I've come back, and hopefully the other riders that are nearest to me will perhaps lose a few points in their last races.
That machine of yours has been flying round the outside. You feel you're getting an advantage? Is it really going for you?
Well, I switched bikes for my last 2 races, and it was by far quicker than the one I used in my first 2 races, which I won. So I took a gamble really in, you know, switching, but obviously it's paid off.
Well, it's heat 19, and Bruce Pennell in the white helmet colour just needs to win it to defend successfully his world title, and it must be said he hasn't got the most difficult of tasks ahead of him. We've got Michael Starostin, the Russian, yet to score. Yuri Stancil has a total of 5 points in grid 2. Pennell has just dropped 1 point to Les Collins, and on the outside it is Vaclav Verner who has 1 point. So really the reigning champion could hardly have hoped for a more comfortable ride on paper, but this is Speedway and this is the world final, and we have seen that anything really can happen. Pennell needs to win it to retain his crown. Realistically, looking across the line, only Stancil, who has won a race, is the man who he should fear. But let's see if Pennell in grid 3 wins it in style. Here we go, heat 19. Is this the race that sees Bruce Lee Pennell defend his crown? He's away clear, and surely they're not going to catch him now. Pennell in front, in 2nd place is Stancil, in 3rd place is Verner, and as long as the bike keeps going, he is going to defend his crown successfully. But it has to be said, it will be a win that will leave a sour taste in many mouths for a long time to come, because the incident involving Carter they'll be talking about for so long, and Pennell, I know, would have wanted to have won in a much more clear-cut, much more dignified fashion, if you please. Pennell in front, the crowd are going wild, and Stancil is moving up into second place, and Pennell really can't afford to ease up much more. He's into the last lap, and Stansel is right on his back wheel, and we wonder if Pennell really is slowed up, or if Stansel is just playing to the gallery. I think it's Pennell that's playing to the gallery. He's only got half a lap to go now, and Bruce Pennell, with a Hollywood career in front of him, is going to win the title for the second time in a way that Hollywood would hardly have scripted. The American crowd are loving it, but I fancy there won't be too much celebration in the English camp. There is the celebration scene starting. The fireworks are bursting. It's American razzmatazz gone mad. Bruce Pennell has successfully defended his championship. There he is, and you can't take this moment away from him. Well, there are the fireworks, but in all honesty, those fireworks do not outshine or outdo the fireworks we've seen on the track. And it is noticeable that there are only American riders out there giving him the victory bump. There isn't a single Englishman there, and that says its own story. There now is Peter Collins, a great friend of Pennell, who has been staying with him at Newport Beach. The noise here at the Coliseum is deafening. Bruce Pennell has defended his title, but he's defended his title in a final that will be remembered more for the aggro than for his authority.
3 points for the win. Bruce Pennell, the way we have it, he is the new world champion.
Bruce Pennell, 1981 world champion and 1982 world champion. Congratulations. It's been a rough and rocky road for you tonight. How do you feel?
I feel great. Unbelievable. I can't believe it, you know. I mean, what happened earlier is what happened. There's not a lot I can say about it. They can't take this away from me, though. I'm world champion again.
Absolutely not. Now, we've got to ask you, Bruce, we know the situation, but you're world champion again. Is it going to mean that you still will be giving up International Speedway?
Well, I think I'll announce that in about 2 minutes, I think. Can't let out any information right now.
That's been called in. Bruce Pennell, everyone, I think, all over the world watching this, congratulates you. The Norwegian referee made the decisions. That's the way it goes. And again, you're happy with the way it went.
That's right. You know, like you just said, I didn't make the decision. The referee did. That's racing.
Okay, Bruce Pennell, the world champion.
Thank you.
Well, there is the winner. Despite all the argy-bargy, the record books will say it's Bruce Pennell's year. The champagne is out, and he's got a couple of those very famous Californian girls as escorts. Les Collins, well, he's done England proud tonight, Les. Very few people gave him a chance. He was the Intercontinental champion, and but for one little slip in his third ride, he might be the world champion. His chance surely will come. He showed his authority in his thoroughbred breeding. And Dennis Sigalos has done marvellously well. And what a waste of good champagne.
Well, I can confirm that Bruce Pennell has decided, in fact, he kept his word, that he has quit. Well, he won it by 14 points, only 1 point ahead of Les Collins. Dennis Sigalos won Heat 20, which we didn't see, to clinch third place with 12 points. Kelly Moran, the other American, had 11 points in fourth place. And sadly, there you see Kenny Carter, only 10 points and fifth place to show for it. Well, the man who decided to exclude Kenny Carter after that controversial crash involving Bruce Pennell was the referee, Tor Kittleson. We witnessed Carter's and his manager, Ivan Major's anger. Let's get Kittleson's side of the story. He talks now to Dave Lanning.
And, of course, Bruce Pennell is in front.
That's where the incident was before they hit the corner. He impeded Carter and pushed Carter off his line. Wouldn't you possibly agree that Carter does have a case for complaint?
I don't think so, Dave. I think that they are still riding. You can see now Bruce Pennell in the front. Have a look here, and you can see that Kenny Carter races up.
Put it back up.
You can see Kenny Carter races up.
But there was nowhere else he could go but straight through the fence, Torres, surely. And surely, if a rider impedes another rider, then he must be brought to blame for that.
Well, you see, if all the time you can see that Bruce Pennell is in the front, and he is in the lead. And Kenny Carter races up, and he fell off by himself in that very second. He is falling off by himself. It's not. I doubt that Bruce Pennell kicks him off in that very moment.
Now, what about all the arguments that followed, Tori? This was very bad for Speedway. We heard Carter say that he intended to sue you. I mean, that we know is really being ridiculous. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I do think when he calms down and I meet him tonight, I think he'll be calmed down. But I don't like that riders staying here on the middle of the field and threaten the referee and try to sue him.
Sarah Kittleson, thank you so much for talking to us.
You're more welcome.
Well, Mr. Kittleson didn't sound very convincing, I thought, and I can hardly say that Kenny Carter fell off the bike himself. It didn't look that way to me, and I'm sure not to you at home either. Well, our next look at this exciting sport is in September, when on the 11th we bring you the Embassy British Open from the White City on the World of Sport. And here now...